Hello, my name is Brayanoski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're watching The Inner Game Rod.
And today we'll be talking about Marvel Avengers and the new War Table stream that happened this past July. And the question of, will Marvel Avengers actually keep us coming back for more? It is a live service game, so have they provided us enough information and insight into, can this game keep us going? And a little hint, maybe so, maybe so. Let's talk about all that's coming with the beta, the new hero, the Avengers Initiative, so much more here right now. Let's do this.
And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, cause you know you want to.
Each week we dive into a hot topic about video games, and this week we're going to talk about Marvel's Avengers, the game, and will it keep us coming back for more? Yeah. Last week we had a surprise stream that I completely forgot about. It was their War Table stream in which they showcased more content around the Marvel's Avengers game. And this one focused on three main sections. It was about what is coming with the beta, which launches this August, the new hero that's coming post-launch. And then also they talked about the Avengers Initiative, which is their kind of process plan behind the live service aspect of this game.
Are we excited about another games as a service game?
Maybe not, possibly. I mean, there's so many things we're like, do we need another one? Now I think we do. I'm just saying, the game looks really good. Pretty well was sold on the way that this plays. Like, it looks a lot of fun. With this one, it's like you're not going to want to just probably pick one character and stick with that character. So if you're playing single player, your AI companions that come with you level up with you. So the characters you're playing with as an AI player are players that have leveled up and are built out to your specifications. So you're basically leveling multiple characters all at the same time and loading up what powers you want on them, what abilities, what cosmetics, all that stuff. What that means when you're playing co-op, probably you're not going to be leveling them up. So I guess there's going to be a little bit of like single player happening just to level up your other characters, and then a little bit of multiplayer.
The most recent one I remember playing was the Final Fantasy VII beta remake. And it, short, sweet, got to the point. I know what I'm getting into. It's a good representation of what the game's going to be like. And it's like, awesome. But man, all the things that you can do, I bet you could put 10 to 20 hours into this beta alone, just doing the harm stuff if you really want to. I mean, you get to go through the gamut of everything that is available for you in this game. The replayability is through the roof. Like, I've never seen a beta like this, ever. It's awesome. Like, I'm excited.
They've been really, really good at leaning into how much they're pulling source material from the comics to build these stories and build these worlds to make sure it's true to the comic.
This is going to be like a 10-year game, They can keep adding stuff in this if they really wanted to. I mean, add new characters, add new levels, like easy.
Yeah. They have the war table that you go into, and that's how you like pick the missions you want to do. So rather than being like a free roaming open world, it's selective levels that you kind of drop into. And I don't know if there's any open area spaces that you can explore and roam around in like some of these other games have, but when you're doing a mission, like you find out where on the world that you're going to be traveling to, you pick that mission, you drop into it, and it also tells you what kind of rewards you're going to get. We know there's going to be 6 characters at launch. It sounds like, I guess Captain America is going to be a playable character because everything seems to now be reporting to that. I just don't know how that's going to tie into the story, but it sounds like we're going to get Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Black Widow, Hulk, Captain America, and Thor at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then after that, the first post-launch character is Hawkeye, which the fan service was like, where the hell is Hawkeye? Why isn't he here? And they were like, we listen. Guess what? He's coming. He's going to be the first character. But it's cool because they showcase like where they're pulling his story from. And the other thing with the heroes that come out with it is that they're going to have a story mission chain tied to a character. And they showcase what comics series that they were pulling this inspiration from, both from the costume design, the story bits. And it sounds like every single new character that comes is going to have story missions tied to that character as they introduce that character into the game world, which I think is a great addition, because they could just like throw the character in there and call it a day. But having some of this backstory, historical insight into it can make you also fall in love with that character more.
Yeah.
They kind of dove into the Avengers Initiative, which is their ongoing kind of roadmap plan or whatever. And they showcased 4 more characters that were just like question marks that we haven't seen anything about yet. So beyond Hawkeye, it sounds like this will be a consistent trend, and they're just going to continue to add more missions, more heroes that are going to have stories attached to those heroes as time goes on to keep people coming back to this game. But once you finish the story, what's the end game? At launch, there's going to be 80 Warzone missions, like right off the bat. So you have 80 of these war zones that are different war zones to play through, which that's a lot of content already. Just having like 80 of these things to run through that could be anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours long, 50 different types of enemies you can face. I also haven't talked yet about hives and boss layers, which are other types of missions that you can do in the game. So I'm excited to see what those are like and what kinds of content that brings into play. And then more regions and stuff that will also be introduced later on down the line. There's a lot of things that they've like laid out the groundwork for. That's got me really, really excited. So much so that I've already pre-ordered this game.
Dang. Okay. I'm behind the times here. They already have the groundwork laid out. They just got to put the pieces together, and they don't have to create anything from scratch. All they have to do is maybe create new suits or and new enemies. They're going to be very successful in the things that they can create. I mean, we can go to other planets now if they really want to, new species and things like that, because that's part of the universe. You know, they go off world because the gameplay, the core mechanics look solid. And that was the huge thing. Like, how is this all going to tie together?
They showcased the ultimate for Iron Man that Iron Man can turn into and become this big, huge behemoth kind of thing. That's like their version of an ultimate. So I guess every character is going to have different moves and then different abilities that it can get bigger and better. I've heard that there's things where you can work off of your other teammates to do special abilities. Like you do this thing and they do this thing, and then it can kind of work into a bigger, better, like collaborative.
Like we saw Thor use his thunder to like overcharge Iron Man.
Yeah.
So he's doing more damage. His lasers turn blue because like now you know he's overcharged or whatever because Thor.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that works into like Thor using that with other characters. Like if he shoots Black Widow, is she going to have overpowered tech? Maybe Thor and Iron Man need to work together. Like you want them to paired because they complement each other that way.
Yeah. Well, that is something I think they mentioned in the stream a little bit, that like team composition is very important to this game. So kind of like in Overwatch, how it is a necessary thing to have your tank and your attack character and your healer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In this game, you're going to want to have different team compositions probably for different types of scenarios and battles and stuff. We'll be able to level up our characters independently. Will be nice because like when we get our group of friends together, it's like, okay, you pull out this character because you're really good with this character. You pull out this character because you really have that one down really well. Those are all things that can build out and adapt. It also creates a lot of replayability. You have your one character that you're leveling up and working towards, and you want to jump to another one. You can play through that, but with again 80 missions and stuff like that, the way in which you play through the mission will probably be a little bit different. So there'll be different abilities that can come in there. I'm really excited for what they've shown. They still talked about that there's more that they haven't even shown us yet. Like I want to know what those boss layers are, and I want to know what those hives are, what those types of missions entail. I hate currencies in games, you know, especially when they have more than like one, and it seems like this one has like 10.
Yeah.
And I'm really concerned as to like why or how or what that entails. If it's going to be like in Destiny where you have to go to like 10 different people to earn reputation and shit like that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that.
I think that might be part of it, maybe not to that degree, but I think that will play a role in microtransactions.
Yeah.
It's just got to. You could buy so much of this currency, and then after you buy that currency, you can start divvying it up amongst the lesser currencies to do certain things. And it's just like, man, there's just a lot to look at there.
Yeah.
And do, and just like, it makes it super complicated, but that's the whole point. You make it a little complicated, you get a little bit here, get a little bit there, and you're like, well, if I just had a little bit more, I'll just buy this currency for like $20 and I'll have enough to get all this stuff I think is cool.
I will pay for skins for these characters, like no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some badass skins in here. I'll be like, yeah, I'll drop a couple of dollars for that thing.
Yeah.
And,
skins, I think skins
who knows?
are fine.
Maybe they're going to be like $10. Who knows?
Right. And then it could be pay to win, honestly. It might come to that.
Yeah,
who knows how these things work out where you take this currency to upgrade this gear that gets that and blah, 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 and the chain of effects that causes for each playable character.
Yeah, well, they already said that this was going to be cosmetic upgrades that are paid.
I got
that are going to be microtransactions. So it'll be like,
what the heck's with
it'll be your skins. I bet you there will also be like, you're going to have emblems, player icons. You're going to have probably emotes and shit that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And all that's going to be stuff that's you can pay to get better, fancier versions of or whatever. So if you play the beta, you're going to get a special emblem that will carry over into the full game.
Yeah.
This game comes out September 4th. To clarify when this stuff drops, if you pre-order the game, the PlayStation Advantage is by pre-ordering the game, you get to play it preload it August 6th and start playing on the 7th through the 9th. Then after that, the open beta will be for PlayStation plus those that pre-ordered Avengers on Xbox One and PC. So if you're on PlayStation, whether you pre-ordered or not, everybody gets access to play the beta. But Xbox and PC players have to have pre-ordered it to play this weekend, which is August 14th through 16th. And then after that, it's going to be full open beta across the board, August 21st to 23rd. So I'm guessing what's going to happen is the weekends, you play the beta, and then during the weeks, they're going to shut it down, fix things, adjust bugs, whatever, and then update it like for the next week. So I don't think we'll be able to play all month, but on the weekends, we'll definitely be like, this is all I'm going to be doing on the weekends for the next 3 weeks is playing Marvel's Avengers. Sure. If you want to contribute to next week's segment, you should give us a shout at theinnergamer.net, where you can also email us at hello@theinnergamer.net. And we would love to have your topic of discussion on the podcast next week.